In the moment of dispersion, a white thread of light immediately materialized in front of Wang Lin as he imprinted the seal, drawing the spirit of the universe. This invocation caused a storm to suddenly rage in the Black Sand Desert, creating countless waves of howling winds. Thin strands of black mist surged from the earth and sky, converging in front of Wang Lin, forming a thin black thread. These two threads intertwined, forming a rhombic rune. This rune far surpassed all ancestral runes of the Immortal Remnant clan, its complexity so profound that just looking at it made one feel dizzy. Seal of the ancient clan, eternal thought. The moment Wang Lin uttered these final words, the rhombic rune emitted black and white light, slowly drifting forward. As it floated, the rhombic rune continued to grow, eventually reaching a size of nearly 1,000 feet, standing tall between the heavens and the earth, like a wall, pushing forward. The booming sounds echoed as the rhombic rune passed, instantly causing the dim sky to fold back, and even the black sand on the ground retreated in unison. It was as though everything had been scraped away, leaving no trace. The vast, enormous rhombic rune was clearly visible throughout the entire world. As it moved forward, everything in its path was destined to be destroyed. Fatigue appeared on Wang Lin's face. With his ancient god cultivation, using this divine ability was no simple feat. This was also why he had refrained from using it until now. Had it not been for this critical battle to determine whether he could leave this place, he would not have resorted to it. The man known as the Stygian Sea, though his cultivation seemed to be at the level of pure nirvana, possessed astonishing divine abilities and magical treasures that could shake the heavens and the earth. With a rumbling sound, the white small sword blocking the way immediately spun backward, its sword cry piercing the air. The man who had been walking toward the black pagoda, Stygian Sea, suddenly trembled, turned, and looked at the slowly approaching rhombic pattern, a flash of brilliance in his eyes. No matter who you are, whether an ancient god or a chi refiner, anyone capable of performing such a divine ability is worthy to witness the ancient power of the sword granted by the immortal emperor. As he spoke, the man pointed forward with his right hand. The white small sword that had been retreating instantly emitted a deafening sword cry, and a sword chi shot out from it, surging into the skies. At that moment, the entire sky was filled with sword shadows, an ancient sword intent suddenly filling the heavens and earth. The sword intent, infused with a sense of antiquity, descended upon the Black Sand Desert under the call of the Feng Zhu small sword. As the sword intent descended, one could see numerous shadowy figures materializing from behind the sword shadows in the sky. These figures, seemingly ancient, each wielded a sword. As the white small sword transformed into a white streak and rushed toward the rhombic rune, these figures in the sky began to move. As they danced, it was as if they were performing sword techniques, forming torrents of sword chi that surged through the sky, turning it into a world of swords. Under the charge of the white streak of light, these sword energies gathered and advanced toward the rhombic rune. The white streak of light was the fastest, and in an instant, it collided with the enormous rhombic rune. With a thunderous boom, ripples spread across the rune, and after the small sword, countless sword shadows followed, howling through the sky. This scene resembled countless people using various sword techniques to release sword chi. These sword energies combined to form an overwhelming sword intent, charging directly at the rhombic rune. The rhombic rune trembled. With this tremor, booming sounds echoed across the heavens and earth, and Wang Lin's body immediately shook, spitting out blood. The spiritual attack, using his cultivation, caused an immense backlash. His eyes glinted coldly as Wang Lin fixed his gaze ahead. The ancient god star mark on his forehead spun rapidly, and vast amounts of ancient god power surged from within him, merging into the rhombic rune, urging it forward once again. As it moved, wherever the rhombic rune passed, the black sand vanished, revealing a mirror-like white surface beneath. In the sky, the dimness was also pushed away, unveiling the same white mirror surface. The ancient sword intent summoned by the white small sword formed countless sword shadows that were forced to retreat. Under the ancient god's divine ability, the ancient sword intent was not enough to stop it. Moreover, The white small sword did not contain the complete ancient sword intent, but only a part of it, making it incapable of withstanding the full force. A strange light flickered in Stygian Sea's eyes as he laughed aloud, staring at the massive rhombic rune ahead and Wang Lin behind it. He laughed and said, "Good. To witness such a divine ability in my lifetime, I will answer one of your questions. I believe the one you most wish to know is, what is this place?" "This place," the man continued, "is the first layer of the Immortal Emperor's cave mansion, the Bottle Realm. It was originally the place where the Immortal Emperor gathered immortal chi to cultivate immortal spirits. The reason it's called the Bottle Realm is that the entire realm is contained within a bottle, a treasure of the Immortal Emperor from his early years. However, due to the Immortal Emperor being gravely wounded and his divine sense collapsing, a fragment of his divine will, infused with his Immortal Emperor's divine power, merged into this place. That's why it has transformed into this black sand desert. The gray mist you encountered earlier was the result of this divine will. In this place, there are 99 realms, each possessing the same black sand. You and your companions are divided into different sections. I can also tell you that the Immortal Emperor's divine ability, the lone smoke over the desert, was comprehended from the great rivers and mountains painting, specifically from the desert smoke painting, which has been sealed within this bottle realm. If you are fortunate, you may take it. However, all of this requires that you kill me." With a long laugh, the Stygian Sea leaped into the air, his eyes gleaming with a ghostly light. He raised his right hand and pointed toward the sky, slowly speaking. "I, Stygian Sea, as the spirit of the bottle realm, possess not only the Feng Zhu bestowed upon me by the Immortal Emperor, but also a divine ability of the Immortal Emperor. Burning heaven." As Stygian Sea pointed at the sky, a burst of 9 colored flames erupted from his body. These 9 colored flames were red, orange, yellow, green, cyan, blue, purple, with black and white interwoven in between. Following the direction of Stygian Sea's finger, the flames shot toward the sky, and instantly, the entire sky was enveloped in a crimson light. The sky, now aflame, appeared as if it were burning with fire. But it didn't stop there. Amidst the spreading red light, other colors simultaneously transformed, and the 9 colored flames filled the sky. For a moment, everything in sight was consumed by the blazing flames. Burning heaven, burn the sky. Using the power of burning the sky, it transformed into an earth-shattering celestial technique. The one who created such a technique was none other than Qing Lin. Waves of heat descended from the sky. As the sky burned, all the darkness disappeared, replaced by an endless sea of flames. The sky was burning, and under the waves of heat, the sand on the ground began to crumble. Each grain of sand cracked with a boom, and in an instant, the entire black sand desert, where Wang Lin stood, seemed to turn into hell. All the sand collapsed and, in that collapse, was invaded by the heat wave, beginning to melt. The black sand turned into a black ocean. This incredible scene made Wang Lin gasp in shock. Being here, he could clearly feel the heat wave approaching. His skin immediately cracked, and even the blood inside his body seemed to turn into wisps of red mist, rising from his pores. That alone was already terrifying, but immediately, Wang Lin noticed that his primordial energy was also changing, rapidly dissipating. The flames in the sky spread, seemingly endless, as if they wanted to burn the entire sky into ash before stopping. As long as there was even a trace of sky left, the flames would burn on relentlessly. The sound of crackling echoed through the world, and under the flames, Wang Lin clearly saw what appeared to be 9 fire dragons roaring through the sky, burning everything in their path. Such a celestial technique, named Burning Heaven, was evidently unimaginably powerful. Even the sky could be burned into ash, let alone everything beneath it. The rhombic runes swept forward, instantly melting the sand on the ground. The flames in the sky seemed to be pushed aside by the movement of the runes. But in the blink of an eye, more overwhelming flames spread out, burning the sky. It seemed as if the sky itself was melting, and balls of fire from the sky fell to the earth. Each time a flame landed, the earth would shake violently. More and more flames fell, and with the movement of the rhombic runes, massive flames burned on their outer edges. The intense heat waves and black smoke caused Wang Lin's heart to shake violently. At this moment, the long laughter of Stygian Sea reverberated through the world, condensing the power of burning heaven, creating my celestial technique, destroying all existence. The moment Stygian Sea's voice appeared, the flames in the sky suddenly swept together, converging into the rhombic runes. The 9-colored flames rained down, surrounding the rhombic runes. As more and more flames fell, the earth itself began to burn, as if the black sand desert had turned into a fiery hell, ready to consume Wang Lin and the rhombic runes. Wang Lin's primordial energy was rapidly depleting. His face turned pale as he sat cross-legged on the rhombic runes. But with the impact of the flames, as the entire sky vanished and the power of burning the world descended, the rhombic runes beneath him shattered with a loud crash. In the moment of the collapse, Wang Lin's eyes flickered. He suddenly stretched out both arms, and the remaining primordial energy within him was fiercely pushed outward, creating a shockwave that immediately sent the shattered rhombic runes flying in all directions. Though the runes were shattered, they still contained the power of the ancient god technique. As they swept outward, it was as though a storm had erupted within this endless sea of flames. The storm pushed the flames outward, but this could only delay the flames for a moment. Once the storm dissipated, the flames would return and burn everything once again. Taking advantage of the moment when the flames were pushed away, Wang Lin's eyes turned red. Ignoring the sweat pouring down his body, ignoring the wisps of red mist rising from his pores, he slapped his storage pouch. "Shoot the divine car." In an instant, a burst of colorful light shot out from Wang Lin's storage pouch. With a loud boom in front of him, it transformed into a vibrant, multicolored butterfly. An invisible wind swept through the desolate black sand desert, shattering all rules with sudden ferocity. At the moment the rainbow butterfly appeared, the mist surrounding Ming Hai's body was promptly swept away by a violent gust of wind that emerged out of nowhere, rushing backwards in a blur. As the mist dissipated, it revealed the gray armor beneath, highlighting the tall figure within. Gazing at the rainbow butterfly, a hint of confusion flickered in Ming Hai's eyes, leading him to unexpectedly abandon his resistance, appearing entranced by the butterfly's movement. As the rainbow butterfly soared forward, its wings flapped once more, producing a thunderous sound. A portion of the armor encasing Ming Hai immediately crumbled into fragments, folding back upon itself. With the rainbow butterfly approaching again, its wings stirred up a continuous roar, causing Ming Hai's armor to shatter widely. The armor around his head cracked audibly, large fissures appearing and turning into countless shards that cascaded from his face, revealing coarse black hair and a deeply sunken visage. He was a middle-aged man, weathered by time, bearing a scar on his face just above the right eyebrow, a scar that seemed to almost pierce through his skull, where a black fragment lingered. Dark mist billowed from this fragment, continually merging with Ming Hai's head. Redirecting his gaze from the rainbow butterfly, Ming Hai touched the scar on his forehead. Suddenly, his eyes glimmered with a haunting light as he murmured, "Am I still alive?" His body swayed before he charged straight towards Wang Lin. With a gesture of his right hand, he pointed skyward, and instantly, the flames in the distance erupted wildly as if summoned, converging to engulf the rhombic rune fragments that had previously scattered, accompanied by a scorching wave of heat. Wang Lin's eyes gleamed coldly as he sprang forth, instantly performing a hand sign. He bit into his tongue, and a blood arrow shot out, curling in his right hand to form a blood-red rune that landed directly on the rainbow butterfly. Each shooting divine vehicle possesses 5 seals. Once opened, the third vehicle's spirit beast cocoons into the rainbow butterfly. However, this butterfly also bears 5 seals. All must be unlocked to unleash the supreme treasure crafted by the heavenly treasure sage capable of eradicating immortal beings. Transforming into a butterfly activates the first seal, and now, it's time for the second seal to be unlocked. The blood arrow struck the butterfly, causing its body to tremble as the vibrant colors flashed intensely, immediately revealing a 6th color that manifested unexpectedly. Ming Hai dashed forward, flames swirling in his raised right hand. As he neared Wang Lin, he waved it outwards, igniting the flames ahead. Without hesitation, Wang Lin summoned the ancient god cauldron, vanishing from his original spot the moment the flames fell, reappearing right behind Ming Hai. His eyes glimmered coldly before he thrust his right hand forcefully against Ming Hai's back, the pattern of a mother and child beast bone flickering on his palm. As murderous energy surged, gray light shimmered at Ming Hai's feet. Ming Hai's lips curled into a sinister smile, and he extended his arms wide. With a powerful release of celestial and demonic energy, he sent a shockwave radiating outward. The gray light beneath him quickly dispersed, and a tremendous force surged toward Wang Lin, who instinctively retreated. However, in his withdrawal, he spat another blood arrow, sending it straight towards the nearby butterfly. Third seal, activate. Unlocking the 3 seals was the limit of Wang Lin's cultivation. As the butterfly shivered, its colors intensified again, transforming into a 7-colored butterfly in the blink of an eye. The 7 hues flickered, making the butterfly even more dazzling. With its wings flapping, a fine, colorful powder materialized in front of Wang Lin, drifting gently forward. Ming Hai pivoted, swinging his right hand. Flames erupted once more, wildly consuming everything ahead. The distant sea of fire was now within 100 feet, seemingly poised to engulf everything. The heat wave striking Wang Lin's body caused his skin to crack with more wounds, yet very little blood flowed from them. His head spun from the excessive loss of internal blood, transforming into red mist. Even his essence spirit felt lethargic. However, it remained unharmed beneath the ancient god leather armor, which came from an 8-star ancient god, while Wang Lin's physique was merely of 5 stars. As the surrounding flames of annihilation drew near, anxiety showed in Wang Lin's gaze, but he promptly focused his eyes. He then noticed that the colorful powder emanating from the fluttering wings of the 7-colored butterfly effortlessly penetrated the flames Ming Hai had conjured, and astonishingly, in an instant, those flames twisted back, following suit. This scene caused even the Stygian Sea to pause for a moment. With a cold sneer, it formed a seal with its left hand, pointing to the ground. The void was gripped fiercely, and immediately, tremors rippled through the earth. The black water, formed from the burning and melting sand, flowed toward the Stygian Sea, gathering in its hand. At that moment, the wings of the rainbow butterfly fluttered rapidly, speeding toward the Stygian Sea. A massive cloud of colorful dust spread, forming a 7-colored storm, rushing toward the Stygian Sea. The Stygian Sea's eyes flashed as it held the black water that had formed in its left hand. With a powerful swing, it sent the black water soaring into the air, forming a protective shield. However, just as the black water was lifted, the rainbow butterfly transformed into a streak of 7-colored light, merging into the storm. It pierced through the black water, causing it to reverse and rush toward the Stygian Sea at an incredible speed, following the storm. At this moment, the blazing heaven incinerating fire was already less than 50 yards away, and in the face of danger, Wang Lin's ancient god cauldron shimmered outside his body. It appeared directly behind the Stygian Sea, and his right hand quickly pointed. The Stygian Sea furrowed its brows, and its demonic and immortal powers erupted once again. However, in that split second, Wang Lin's eyes gleamed coldly as he shouted, "Freeze technique." This time, his attack wasn't meant to directly harm the enemy, but rather to confuse the Stygian Sea, providing himself with the perfect opportunity to cast the freeze technique. The freeze word instantly bound the Stygian Sea, as if countless threads wrapped around its body. For a brief moment, it froze in place. Although Wang Lin's cultivation wasn't of an ancient god physique, and he was only in the mid-glimpse of Nirvana stage, casting the freeze technique on an immortal equivalent to the pure Nirvana stage immediately triggered a backlash. But Wang Lin paid it no mind. In the moment the Stygian Sea was frozen, the 7-colored storm roared toward it. Instead of attacking directly, under Wang Lin's control, it surged toward the injury above its right brow the instant it neared. The entire storm merged into the wound without leaving a trace. A mad roar erupted from the Stygian Sea's mouth. It pressed its hands to its head, struggling violently, retreating at full speed. Wang Lin didn't pursue. Instead, in that instant, he recalled all his treasures, including the soul banner and the immortal sealing seal that had been used to summon soldiers during the heaven incineration. He rushed toward the Black Pagoda. At this moment, the heaven incinerating fire spread from all directions, swallowing everything in its path. Under the scorching waves, Wang Lin's clothes immediately ignited, but the cyan light flashing in his right eye quickly extinguished the flames. Grinding his teeth, he summoned his ancient god cauldron again, and in the blink of an eye, it appeared 100 yards away, allowing him to step directly into the Black Pagoda. The reason he entered was because, under the fire's spread, the black sand desert had completely disappeared. Only the Black Pagoda remained, untouched by the flames. But the fire's speed was terrifying. Almost as soon as Wang Lin's body entered the Black Pagoda, the flames surged in, their intense heat striking his back. Wang Lin felt a sharp pain in his back as the heat surged into his body. Thankfully, it was only the aftershock of the flames, not too much. Wang Lin struggled and slapped his storage pouch, swallowing a handful of medicinal pills. Turning around, he looked into the distance. In the black sand desert, the sea of fire raged, and the sky was gone. When he looked up, the sky became an empty void, occasionally revealing smooth patches of white, like a mirror. In the distance, the Stygian Sea's anguished roar echoed. It floated in midair, clutching its head and howling in rage. Wang Lin's sharp eyes could clearly see the seven-colored light flashing above its right brow. Colorful dust spread, as though sealing the wound. But just as the wound on its forehead was sealed, the fragments of demonic aura in the Stygian Sea's mind were immediately covered by the seven-colored glow, blocking the flow of the demonic energy. Its eyes showed confusion, as though waking from a nightmare. Yet, unbearable pain followed. It suddenly looked up at the sky, where the white mirror-like surface appeared, and a bitter smile crossed its face. Immortal Emperor, the Stygian Sea is unfaithful, driven by selfish desires, and has been corrupted by demons. It deserves death, it sneered, and in the next instant, the endless flames beneath it erupted, engulfing its body. After the flames subsided, all that was left was ash, and a single rainbow butterfly fluttered amidst the fire, returning to the Black Pagoda by Wang Lin's side. Watching all this in silence, Wang Lin vaguely understood. He sighed softly, noticing that the firestorm outside had not yet reached the Black Pagoda. He then surveyed the tower. After a long pause, his eyes flashed. He tapped his storage pouch, and all the heads he had collected earlier flew out, floating before him. Wang Lin's eyes gleamed with a strange light as he muttered to himself. I never expected that Brother Qing Shui's immortal art, netherworld pathfinding, would come in handy here. These bodies all contain demonic aura. With this demonic energy as a guide, I should be able to open a path to leave here. Wang Lin waved his right hand, and instantly, all the heads in front of him shattered with a series of loud bangs. With a flick of his fingers, he stirred everything, transforming it into a dark red vortex. The vortex continued to extend, gradually forming a passage that appeared right in front of him. Wang Lin's gaze sharpened as he immediately sensed something was wrong. As the vortex spun, a dense demonic aura surged from within. In that instant, the vortex, guided by the demonic aura, erupted with a loud boom, as if it had broken through to some unknown place. Wang Lin's eyes widened in shock. He saw a grand hall, swirling with demonic qi. Above the hall, there was a massive throne, upon which sat a figure. The thick demonic aura pervaded, and as soon as Wang Lin felt just a fraction of it, he staggered back a few steps, his face darkening with shock. This was his first time using the netherworld pathfinding art, but he hadn't expected the passage he opened to lead here. In all his life, the demonic qi he encountered from the scattered demon was the thickest, followed by the Stygian Sea. But right now, neither the scattered demon nor the Stygian Sea came even close to the demonic qi radiating from the place the vortex had opened. The demonic qi within this vortex was the most pure and extreme, as if it were the pinnacle of all demonkind, the very origin of all demons. Compared to it, the demonic qi from the scattered demon and Stygian Sea was like the difference between a firefly and the full moon. Especially in the mysterious hall at the end of the passage, where the figure sitting on the throne made Wang Lin's scalp tingle and his heart shake with just a single glance. In that moment, all Wang Lin could hear was his heartbeat, rapidly accelerating, and even his breath seemed to stop. Without hesitation, he immediately severed his connection to the netherworld pathfinding art. The vortex trembled and immediately began to collapse with a series of crackling sounds. As the vortex collapsed, dozens of illusory figures of people Wang Lin had previously killed emerged, each of them glaring at him with hatred, letting out shrill screams. Their figures twisted and stretched as if trying to break free and devour him. The figure on the throne slowly raised its head, and a murky gaze gradually pierced through the mist, locking onto Wang Lin through the crumbling passage. Its dim eyes focused on him. The instant the mysterious figure's gaze became focused, Wang Lin's right eye flickered with cyan light. Without thinking, he swiftly retreated, and a cyan light shield appeared before him. At that moment, the figure on the throne slowly raised its right hand, holding something in its grasp, and threw it outward. A beam of yellow light shot toward the collapsing vortex. As it entered the vortex, it immediately triggered a massive collapse. With a deafening roar, the vortex was instantly shattered by the yellow light. The dozens of distorted and elongated figures inside the vortex screamed in agony before exploding, transforming into tiny black crystals that scattered into the surroundings. The yellow light shot out from the collapsing vortex and directly struck Wang Lin's cyan light shield. However, the shield offered no resistance, as if it were transparent, and the yellow light passed through it, almost immediately nearing Wang Lin's face. It stopped just 3 inches from his nose. At this moment, the vortex dissipated, and the black pagoda returned to calm. However, Wang Lin's face was covered in cold sweat as he stared intently at the yellow light in front of him. At such a close distance, he could clearly see that the yellow light contained a rhombic crystal. Taking a few steps back, Wang Lin's expression shifted between dark and light, and after a long period of silence, he raised his right hand. Grasping at the air, the yellow rhombic crystal slowly floated into his palm. I didn't make a mistake when using the netherworld pathfinding art. Instead, someone used a divine technique to interfere with it, breaking it out of my control and opening a passage to an unknown place. Wang Lin stared at the crystal in his hand, and with his sharp mind, he quickly figured it out. The one who interfered with my netherworld art must be the mysterious figure in the hall. It's a pity that he's shrouded in darkness, and I can't see his face. The reason he did this must be to deliver this crystal to me. Wang Lin's gaze flickered, and his brow gradually furrowed. The Immortal Emperor's cave mansion was too mysterious. Many things were beyond his comprehension, and he could only guess at the answers. Could that mysterious figure be Qinglin? Wang Lin murmured to himself after a brief moment of contemplation. Why would he send me this crystal, and what is his true purpose? Staring at the crystal, Wang Lin didn't extend his divine sense to investigate. Instead, he placed it aside and took several steps back, sitting cross-legged and beginning his breathing exercises. In the black sand desert, his body had sustained injuries, and he had lost much of his blood. Even now, he still felt a lingering dizziness. What made matters worse was that his remaining primordial energy was dangerously low. If that were all, it would be fine, but his immortal power was almost completely depleted as well. The immortal power Brother Qingshui gave me has been used up far too quickly in this black sand desert. I need to replenish it soon. The dangers of this battle in the black sand desert are like nothing I've faced in my life. Thinking back to the Brahma Heaven technique unleashed in the Stygian Sea, Wang Lin still felt lingering fear. He looked up toward the outside of the tower, where flames still blazed fiercely, engulfing the heavens and earth. Though the heat couldn't be felt within the tower, just looking outside made his vision twist under the scorching waves, as if everything beyond were being incinerated and shattered in an instant. Impossible to see clearly into the distance. I wonder how Situ and the others are doing now, Wang Lin sighed inwardly. Trapped inside the tower, surrounded by endless flames, it felt as if he were the only person left in the world. After a long silence, the medicinal pill Wang Lin had taken earlier began to take effect. The pain in his body gradually eased. He patted his storage pouch, and immediately a milky white glow appeared in his hand. Within that glow swirled pure immortal power. The essence spirit of the mystic treasure elder from back then. It finally has a use. Wang Lin brought the glowing cluster close to his nose and took a deep breath. At once, 2 strands of immortal qi drifted out from the glow, entered his nostrils, and were quickly absorbed into his body. Time passed slowly. Several days later, Wang Lin opened his eyes. The immortal power within him had been fully restored and slightly increased. But he understood that storing too much immortal power could lead to the dispersal of his inner intent, so it had to be kept at a stable level. His ancient god physique had astonishing regenerative abilities. In just a few days, all his injuries had healed, and the dizziness had vanished entirely. However, the pressing issue now before him was the replenishment of primordial energy. Under normal circumstances, this wouldn't have been a problem for Wang Lin. Outside, he could simply meditate and breathe to absorb heaven and earth energy. With his cultivation, it would naturally flow into him. But here, after several days of meditation, the growth of primordial energy within him was excruciatingly slow. He could faintly sense that in the black sand desert, heaven and earth energy was scarce, and what little there was had been absorbed and fused with the endless flames outside the tower. Because of this, absorbing any of it was as difficult as snatching chestnuts from the fire. After a brief silence, Wang Lin stood up. He glanced at the yellow crystal not far away on the ground, but chose to ignore it. Instead, he walked over to the edge of the tower and looked out. Wherever his gaze landed, flames continued to burn relentlessly. The crackling of fire echoed steadily. Overhead, the white mirrored sky was now shrouded by thick black smoke rising from the sea of fire, forming a mass of dark clouds roiling through the air. If I can't replenish my primordial energy, I won't reach peak condition. I can't examine that yellow crystal recklessly, and I certainly can't leave the black pagoda. While meditating earlier, Wang Lin had released his divine sense, letting it sweep across the entire black pagoda, but it revealed nothing unusual. Pondering in silence, he stared into the blazing inferno beyond the tower, mentally calculating. At last, gritting his teeth, he took a step forward and immediately exited the black pagoda. The moment he stepped out, Wang Lin's body dropped to the ground. As soon as his feet touched down, the flames ahead seemed to react and surged toward him in a wave, aiming to engulf him. Wang Lin's eyes flashed. He raised his right hand and grabbed at the air. Instantly, a sliver of flame broke off from the oncoming surge and was seized by him. At the same time, he swiftly retreated back into the black pagoda. Just as his body re-entered the tower, the fire exploded forward, engulfing the entire black pagoda. Only after a long time did the flames gradually subside, retreating like a receding tide. Pale-faced, Wang Lin sat cross-legged on the ground inside the tower. In his right hand, he held a flame the size of a soybean, radiating intense heat. His hand had already begun to crack from the heat. Staring at the flame, blood vessels began to appear in his eyes. Under the flickering light, his face shifted between light and shadow. Within him, a struggle raged. A difficult decision had to be made. After the time it takes for half a stick of incense to burn, decisiveness suddenly flared in Wang Lin's eyes. This flame is dangerous, yes, but its amount is limited. I made calculations before seizing it, so there shouldn't be any error. Struggling any further is pointless. I might as well give it a try. He slapped his body with his right hand, causing his storage pouch to fly into the distant corner. With a few seals, he locked it in place. Then he took a deep breath, lifted 2 fingers, and pinched the small flame. Without hesitation, he brought it to his lips and swallowed it. The moment the flame entered his body, a surge of scorching heat erupted within him. That heat carried an unimaginable intensity. Within moments, Wang Lin's skin turned crimson. He threw his head back and let out a roar of pain, the sound bursting from the tower like a thunderclap. At the same time, streams of flame shot out from his pores, instantly incinerating his robes into ash. The flames then spread outward, surrounding Wang Lin within a 3-zhang radius. Beads of sweat had only just. He felt as though he had swallowed a piece of burning coal. Thankfully, his essence spirit was protected by the ancient god leather armor, so he was unharmed. However, the little primordial energy he had left was immediately integrated with the flames that entered his body, as if the fire was burning inside Wang Lin. Under the intense pain, Wang Lin gritted his teeth and endured. As the primordial energy merged with the flames, it gradually spread to his essence spirit. Only by merging with the essence spirit can I truly absorb the primordial energy of heaven and earth contained within. After a brief calculation, Wang Lin's eyes sharpened with determination. Without hesitation, he formed a hand seal and pressed his chest. Instantly, the ancient god leather armor above his essence spirit turned into a black light and detached, flying out of Wang Lin's mouth. Without the ancient god leather armor, the primordial energy fused with the flames surged directly into his essence spirit. Wang Lin endured the pain, completely unaware of the passage of time. He didn't know how long had passed, but gradually, the pain above his essence spirit began to fade. The primordial energy, now transformed into flames, slowly merged with his essence spirit, flowing once again. Wang Lin tiredly opened his eyes. At that moment, the sea of fire, which had been 3 yards around him, immediately began to retract through his pores and swiftly merged into his body. This time, Wang Lin only felt a brief warmth, as the fire merged with the running primordial energy inside him, becoming one. My primordial energy has increased. This method is dangerous, but it works. Wang Lin took a deep breath, closed his eyes again, and after a moment, he stood up. His face still showed signs of exhaustion as he stepped out of the black pagoda, standing outside. The sea of fire outside surged like a tide, and the sky was filled with thick black smoke. The moment Wang Lin appeared, the sea of fire immediately surged toward him. This time, Wang Lin stayed a little longer. With his right hand, he drew a fireball the size of a baby's fist from the sea of fire and retreated back into the black pagoda. Ignoring the fact that the sea of fire engulfed the black pagoda once again, Wang Lin sat cross-legged in his previous position, staring at the fireball in his right hand. He swallowed it in one gulp. Time slowly passed. Wang Lin continued to struggle in the pain of replenishing his primordial energy, drawing fire from the sea over and over again, merging it with the primordial energy inside him. From the initial flames to the fireball the size of a baby's fist, and now, the fireball the size of a human head, Wang Lin no longer consumed them. Instead, he deeply inhaled the flames in front of him, immediately absorbing them without leaving a trace. If anyone who knew Wang Lin were present, they would find it hard to recognize the person in the black pagoda as him. After being corrupted by demonic qi earlier, his face had become gaunt, and after absorbing the fire energy from the blazing heaven flames, his skin was cracked all over, giving him a terrifying appearance. His hair had turned dry and lacked any shine, but his eyes were increasingly bright. Anyone who met his gaze would immediately feel as if a searing flame surged from within them, giving the sensation of being burned to ash. Yet this was nothing compared to what had changed. A strange transformation had occurred at the center of Wang Lin's forehead. Several days ago, after absorbing some of the flames, a remarkable change had appeared, an imprint resembling the Vermilion Bird. I didn't expect that after absorbing this blazing heaven flame, not only did my primordial energy recover, but it also contained a scorching force. But the heat inside me seemed slightly different from the Qing Lin blazing heaven power. Wang Lin opened his eyes as he sat cross-legged, touching the center of his forehead. I had to absorb these flames to restore my primordial energy, but now it seems that the more flames I absorb, the more benefits I gain. Wang Lin's bright eyes flickered as he stood up and began walking forward. Stepping out of the black pagoda, the sea of fire immediately surged toward him like a roaring tide, enveloping Wang Lin the moment he appeared. Wang Lin's expression remained unchanged as he let the fire pass by him, soon engulfing the area behind him. Wang Lin walked calmly through the sea of fire, his pace slow, but his walk through the fire, which engulfed the entire black sand desert, was an astonishing sight. If Ling Tianhe were present, seeing Wang Lin would undoubtedly shock him. Even he could not walk through this blazing heaven fire sea with such ease. Wang Lin walked steadily, and after some time, he stopped. This was the limit of how far he could go. The blazing heaven fire sea ahead was growing stronger, and the heat was rising rapidly. After glancing at the fire sea ahead, Wang Lin sat cross-legged again. He spread his hands, and 2 streams of flames immediately split from the sea of fire. They moved swiftly in response to his hand movements and intertwined in front of him, forming a fireball roughly the size of his body. Wang Lin opened his mouth and took a deep breath. Immediately, the fireball shrank rapidly and was entirely sucked into his mouth, disappearing without a trace. The overwhelming heat surged crazily from Wang Lin's body, merging with the surrounding sea of flames, causing the fire to shift and engulf him, who was sitting cross-legged within. 3 days later, in the location where Wang Lin stood, the flames suddenly exploded outward with a loud bang. Amidst the inferno, Wang Lin slowly stood up. The cracks on his skin had increased, and his eyes were even brighter. A terrifying aura emanated from his body, merging with the surrounding sea of flames, containing an unimaginable intensity of heat. Still not enough. Wang Lin muttered to himself, rubbing his brow. After a brief pause, he took a step forward, leaving the black tower far behind. As time passed again, Wang Lin continued his journey. Each time he reached his limit, he would sit cross-legged and absorb the fire energy. Once he had enough strength to resist, he would press on. For months passed in the blink of an eye. By now, Wang Lin had already moved far away from the black tower. As he looked around, all he could see was an endless sea of flames. The scorching heat spread like a wild wind, capable of incinerating any life it touched. The cracks on Wang Lin's body had broken open 2 months ago, revealing new flesh. However, now they had reappeared, even more numerous than before. The heat here should be enough, Wang Lin muttered to himself, stopping in his tracks and taking a deep breath. As he inhaled, the flames in front of him immediately surged and rushed into his mouth. But this time, Wang Lin did not integrate the flames into his primordial energy or merge them with his essence spirit. Instead, he sent all the flames, without a trace of hesitation, rushing into his brow. At that moment, an imprint, which had gradually come to life over the past few months, appeared on his forehead. It was the mark of the Vermilion Bird. Since the mark had first appeared months ago, it had been rapidly changing. With Wang Lin absorbing more and more fire energy, the transformation became more pronounced. The mark quickly morphed into the shape of a vermilion bird. It was as if a fiery vermilion bird was rapidly growing, continuously being nurtured, about to break free from the mark. Not enough. Wang Lin suddenly stretched out his arms, sweeping them through the air. Instantly, the surrounding sea of flames shifted, and a massive amount of flames spread, enveloping him. However, the flames immediately drilled into his body through every pore. The boundless fire surged in, all of it being drawn toward his forehead. The mark on his brow immediately emitted a deep red glow. Under the red light, Wang Lin leaped into the air, and the flames on the ground rose with him, continuously flowing into his body. From afar, this scene was earth-shattering. Still not enough. Wang Lin's eyes glowed with a strange light as he spread his arms and grabbed fiercely at the earth beneath him. It was as if he were embracing the sea of flames. In that moment, his primordial energy exploded forth, and the fire on the ground roared as it surged toward him. This new sea of flames, formed by Wang Lin's primordial energy, clashed with the flames of the earth, merging into an even greater inferno that surged toward Wang Lin. As the fire on the ground moved, endless flames from the far-off distance rushed toward him. It was as though there were a black hole here, pulling in the hellfire of the black sand desert. Countless flames rushed into Wang Lin's body, entering the mark on his brow. The red light from the mark intensified to an unimaginable degree. A blazing vermilion bird swiftly manifested from within the mark. The moment the vermilion bird appeared, a deafening cry filled the air, shaking the heavens and shattering all voids. It was the cry of a phoenix, a roar of the vermilion bird, a sound that symbolized Wang Lin's awakening as one of the vermilion bird's sacred sex own, as a member of the vermilion sequence. This fiery vermilion bird was incredibly majestic, filled with a remarkable vitality. As the vermilion bird's cry resounded, all the flames in the black sand desert began to boil and surge wildly. Endless flames surged toward the vermilion bird, speeding toward Wang Lin's figure, a force that could burn everything in its path. The awakening of the mark, the transformation of the vermilion bird. It was an earth-shattering event in the past at the Four Sacred Sect. Any cultivator within a sect who could awaken the Vermilion Bird mark was destined to be one of the four sacred beings, unless something unforeseen occurred. At this moment, Wang Lin was the only one from the Vermilion sequence who had awakened the mark. Before and after him, no other sequence members had achieved this. The cry of the Vermilion Bird startled not only the realm within the bottle where Wang Lin resided. In that instant, the entire realm within the bottle, where all who entered were present, was shaken. Everyone heard the thunderous Vermilion Bird cry that spread throughout the heavens and the earth, resonating through the entire world of the bottle. Ling Tianho sat cross-legged within the black pagoda, meditating with his eyes closed. But in that instant, the Vermilion Bird's cry echoed throughout his world, creating an unimaginable tremor that made the very heavens and earth quake. Ling Tianho suddenly opened his eyes, revealing an unimaginable shock. The cry of the Vermilion Bird. In the realm where Tian Yunzi resided, he floated in midair, clad in white robes, staring at the sky. With his right hand, he began to calculate, his gaze growing brighter, a smile creeping up at the corner of his mouth as he muttered to himself. So this is how it is. Before he could finish his words, the realm around him was instantly torn apart by a Vermilion Bird's cry, reverberating quickly. The sudden cry of the Vermilion Bird immediately caused Tian Yunzi's calculations to collapse. The entire realm trembled violently, and the color of the heavens and earth changed. The winds and clouds scattered in an instant, and Tian Yunzi's face, for the first time, revealed a rare shift of expression. Impossible,